On screen, Gunnery Sergeant Vince Carter looked like the perfect image of military authority. Loud, disciplined, and always seconds away from an explosive outburst. But the man behind that commanding voice, Frank Sutton, carried a far deeper and more complicated story. His path to television fame was not just about acting. It was shaped by years of real experiences, disappointments, and determination that he quietly poured into a character millions of viewers loved. Long before he became famous, Sutton had a very different dream. He wanted to join the Marine Corps more than anything. When World War II began, he rushed to enlist, eager to serve. But something unexpected stopped him immediately. During the entrance process, he failed a color vision test, which disqualified him from joining the Marines. For someone who admired the discipline and reputation of that branch, the rejection was deeply disappointing. Still determined to serve, Sutton refused to give up. Instead, he joined the United States Army and soon found himself in the Pacific during some of the most intense fighting of the war. His service was not symbolic. It was real combat. Sutton participated in 14 separate assault landings across the Pacific theater. 14 missions that required courage and endurance. For his service, he received the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart, two honors awarded to soldiers who faced extreme danger and sacrifice. Ironically, the actor who would later portray a Marine drill sergeant on television had originally been unable to join that branch at all. Yet he still fought and bled for his country. Despite this remarkable history, Sutton rarely spoke about it. Years later, when the television series Gomer Pyle USMC first aired in 1964, audiences immediately connected with Sutton's intense performance as Sergeant Carter. His portrayal felt so convincing that many viewers assumed it reflected his real personality. But that assumption followed him throughout his life in ways that were often uncomfortable. People expected him to behave exactly like the character. Loud, aggressive, and constantly irritated. The reality was completely different. Friends and colleagues described Sutton as quiet, thoughtful, and deeply private. He preferred reading to arguments and intellectual conversations to attention. Cast members often noticed that once filming stopped, Sutton seemed to disappear into the background. The larger-than-life image of Sergeant Carter overshadowed the real person behind the role. Sutton rarely discussed his wartime experiences, and when he did, he usually redirected the conversation. One comment he made about the character revealed more than anything else. When asked if his military service helped him portray Sergeant Carter, Sutton paused and replied, "I just remember what it felt like to be scared and trying not to show it." That single sentence captured the truth behind the performance. The frustration and intensity that audiences laughed at were drawn from real memories and real emotions. Beneath the comedy was a man who had already faced much more serious challenges than a fictional recruit. But the public rarely saw that side of him. On screen, Sutton seemed explosive, a man whose voice could shake an entire barracks. His timing was perfect for comedy, his expressions unforgettable. Yet away from the cameras, he was calm and reflective. In fact, Sutton had always been deeply interested in learning. After returning from World War II, he did not immediately pursue Hollywood. Instead, he went back to school. He enrolled at Columbia University and studied drama seriously, eventually earning his degree with honors. For Sutton, education was not simply a backup plan. It was an essential part of his identity. He believed acting required discipline and understanding, not just talent. Colleagues on television sets often noticed how different he was during breaks in filming. While others joked or relaxed, Sutton was frequently reading. He carried novels, biographies, and sometimes philosophical works with him to the set. Crew members joked that the loudest character on television might belong to one of the quietest thinkers behind the scenes. That contrast fascinated people who worked with him. The actor who shouted orders on screen was, in reality, reflective and reserved. One moment revealed this clearly. During a rare interview in the late 1960s, Sutton was asked about politics and the state of the country. Instead of offering a strong opinion, he responded humbly, saying he was no more qualified to speak about national issues than the elevator operator in the building. It was not sarcasm. Sutton simply believed that fame did not automatically make someone an authority. Unfortunately, Many viewers expected him to behave with the same certainty and intensity as his television character. This misunderstanding created a quiet tension in his life. Sutton never fully embraced the celebrity culture surrounding him. He avoided parties, rarely gave interviews, and preferred spending time with family or working in theater. For him, fame was secondary to the work itself. As the popularity of Gomer Pyle USMC grew, the show became a major television success. Week after week, millions of viewers tuned in to watch the unlikely partnership between the gentle recruit Gomer and the fiery Sergeant Carter. The actor playing Gomer was Jim Nabors. On screen, their chemistry created some of the most memorable moments in television comedy. Behind the scenes, however, their working styles were very different. Nabors was known for his easygoing personality and relaxed approach to performance. Sutton, on the other hand, approached every scene with intense focus. He believed rehearsals should be precise and carefully prepared. At first, this contrast helped the show. Sutton's disciplined energy balanced Nabors' softer, improvisational style. But as the years passed, the difference between them became more noticeable. Crew members later recalled moments of quiet tension during rehearsals. Sutton became frustrated when scenes felt unfocused or overly exaggerated. He believed the comedy worked best when every line was delivered carefully. Although arguments were rare, the atmosphere sometimes grew uncomfortable. One producer later described Sutton's temper as unusual. He rarely shouted in anger. Instead, he would simply become silent, and that silence often made the room feel tense. Meanwhile, Nabors was becoming successful in another area of entertainment. His singing career was growing rapidly, bringing new opportunities and attention. As his schedule expanded, some people believed his focus on the show had started to shift. For Sutton, who valued discipline and preparation, this created frustration. He believed the show deserved complete dedication. Over time, the two actors maintained a strictly professional relationship. They worked together effectively on camera, but off-camera their interaction remained limited. Despite these tensions, Sutton never allowed personal feelings to affect his performance. His background as a soldier had taught him a simple principle: complete the mission regardless of personal emotions. Ironically, the very role that made him famous was also beginning to restrict him. Audiences loved Sergeant Carter so much that producers struggled to imagine Sutton in any other type of role.